What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this video. I know this one's not going to be a particularly long video. However, I at least wanted to make sure that I put something out for y'all tonight, even though I did drop that gun review. That gun review was not recorded today. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. A while ago, not even a while ago, maybe like a week ago, I did 3 things that I hate about revolvers. So, of course, I have to do 3 things that I do like about revolvers. So, let's get right into it. We're going to start with number 1. Number 1, of course, being how they look. A majority of revolvers actually look pretty freaking nice. There's no debating that there. I mean, look, all jokes aside, we can all, make a ton of jokes about how revolvers, more times than not, are used by FUDs, things like that. We can always make jokes like that. We can always make jokes about, oh yeah, revolvers have such low capacity, you're just gonna have to throw it at them. We can all make jokes like that, but what we can't joke about is the fact that revolvers do look pretty freaking nice. Now, of course, there are, outliers or exceptions to the rule. However, once again, that does not change the general rule. So I think that's obviously the most subjective one out of the 3. Next, we're going to move on to number 2. I'm a pretty big fan of the calibers that revolvers often come chambered in. So we're talking like 38 Special, 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum. We're talking a lot of calibers that, the majority of times you're not going to find in semi-auto guns. Sure, you can find a Desert Eagle in 44 Magnum. You can find a Desert Eagle in 357 Magnum. But really, that's it. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, I don't know about you guys, but the one of the coolest things about the calibers that they shoot is the fact that with revolvers, they are also interchangeable sometimes with calibers. For example, let's say you have a gun that's chambered in 357 Magnum, right? You have a revolver that shoots 357. You can shoot 38 Special out of it as well. This is something that you don't see super commonly among semi-autos where it will work. It's something that only see it work with revolvers, and that's generally just because of how the mechanics are. With semi-autos, for example, you can take 9mm, you can put 380 in it, right? It's not gonna function fully. You're gonna have some malfunctions. Similar with 40 Smith & Wesson and 10mm. You go ahead and put some 40s in there instead of 10mm, you're probably going to experience, more likely than not, a malfunction, just like you would with 380 ACP compared to 9mm. That's one of the cool things about revolvers, that with the calibers they come chambered in, you can go ahead and, for example, once again, if you have a firearm, for example, the Taurus 66, right? It's chambered for 357 Magnum. You can shoot 38 Special out of it, though, no problem. 38 Special, not to mention, is cheaper, more commonly available, even though most revolver rounds are not that available nowadays. In the end, no one can argue against that. You see what I mean? Sure, once again, there are some outliers when it comes to, calibers that they're chambered in. However, generally speaking, there's usually some softer shooting counterpart. Now, hear me out as an example, right? 44 Magnum, you got 44 Special. 357 Magnum, you got 38 Special. Even if you break it down to a little 22 LR revolver, if I'm not mistaken, you can shoot 22 shorts out of those as well. So that is one of the cooler things about revolvers, I guess, is maybe how I phrased it is wrong. Maybe it's not just the calibers that they're chambered in, but how interchangeable these calibers are sometimes with each other. Now, number 2 being out the way, moving on to number 3. Number 3, and let me explain in, at least somewhat full detail before y'all start commenting down below, because I already know I'm going to get some stupid comments out of this for some reason. But I'm a huge fan of the fact that you get some revolvers that are single action only, some that are double action only, some that are single double action. Now, you might be wondering, well, there are semi-autos that do that as well. What does that make it, why does that make revolvers so special that they can do that? Well, let's be 100% honest here. If it wasn't for revolvers, if it wasn't for what is the original handgun, which, as much as we can argue against it, is revolvers, do you think we would have really developed the technology for semi-auto firearms? I personally don't. We might have came up with something similar. However, what I can say is that revolvers and overall just the effort that have been put into revolver technology, I guess you could say, it made it that much easier for semi-autos. It made it that much easier for people who made semi-autos to say, okay, you know what? Some revolvers can do this. And I mean, we our handgun is also a hammer fire, it's just a semi-auto. Let's go ahead and see if we can make it a double action as well instead of just single action. So it's a single double, right? That's something that most people they kind of don't appreciate. When it comes down to the truth of the matter here is that history is kind of just what built us up here. We can't sit here and say that revolvers had no place in the world because even beyond the fact that they were the original handgun, so to speak, uh, beyond that fact, we also have to admit that if revolvers were never invented, we probably wouldn't have semi-auto handguns either. We probably wouldn't have a lot of leading advancements that we currently have in firearm technology that we have today. So, I mean, in the end, I think those are three pretty solid things that I do like about revolvers personally. I didn't want to harp too much in this video and go on too much of a rant because honestly, I didn't feel a need to in this one. These three reasons, these three things, I guess you could say, that I actually do like about revolvers all seem legitimately easy to understand. It's not something I have to sit here and break down for you guys like your kindergartners like I do with some of my other videos. But with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me about these three things that I actually do like about revolvers, go ahead and make sure to comment down below what you do or don't like about revolvers. I mean, last time I said that, someone left a almost page-long comment, and I was like, damn. Damn. But with that being said, I think that about wraps up for this video. So go ahead and comment down below what you do or don't like about revolvers. And with that being said, y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.